From the waist upwards he was like a man, but his legs were shaped like a goat's. He had a pleasant little face and curly hair, out of which stuck 2 horns. He was a fawn. When he saw Lucy, he gave a start of surprise. "Good evening," said Lucy. "Good evening," said the fawn. "Excuse me, but are you a daughter of Eve?" "My name is Lucy," she said, not quite understanding him. "But, forgive me, are you what they call a girl?" he asked. "Well, of course I am," replied Lucy, thinking his questions very strange. "I have never seen a son of Adam or a daughter of Eve before," said the fawn. "I am delighted to meet you. My name is Tumnus." "Well, I'm very pleased to meet you, Mr. Tumnus," said Lucy. "And may I ask, O Lucy, daughter of Eve," said Mr. Tumnus, "how you have come into Narnia?" "Narnia? What's that?" said Lucy. "This is the land of Narnia," said the fawn. "Everything that lies between the lamppost and the great castle of Cair Paravel on the eastern sea." "Well, I got in through the wardrobe in the spare room," said Lucy. "Ah," said Mr. Tumnus, "if only I had worked harder at geography when I was a little fawn, I should know about all these strange countries." "But they aren't countries at all," said Lucy, almost laughing. "It's only just back there. It is summer there." "Meanwhile," said Mr. Tumnus, "it is winter in Narnia, and has been for ever so long. And we shall both catch cold if we stand here talking in the snow. Daughter of Eve, from the far land of Spare would you like to come and have tea with me?" "Oh, I'd like that very much," said Lucy, who was feeling quite hungry. "But I won't be able to stay for long." And so Lucy found herself walking through the wood, arm in arm with the fawn, as if they had known each other all their lives. They had not gone far when Mr. Tumnus led Lucy into a little cave where a wood fire burned merrily. Lucy thought she had never been in a nicer place. This is in his cave, so in his home. For tea there was a nice brown egg each, sardines on toast, toast with honey, and finally a sugar-topped cake, which sounds so lovely. The fawn told Lucy wonderful tales of life in Narnia, about midnight dances with the wood nymphs and water sprites, they're a type of fairy, about the milk-white stag who would give you wishes if you caught him, and treasure-seeking with the red dwarfs. Then he took up a little flute and played a tune that made Lucy want to cry and laugh and dance all at the same time. And finally she said, "Oh, Mr. Tumnus, I'm sorry to stop you, but really I must go home. Here comes Shane. He's back for the story. Shane, why don't you sit down?" To her surprise, the fawn's brown eyes filled with tears. Oh, I'm such a bad fawn," he sobbed. Lucy put her arms around him and gave him her handkerchief. "No, you're not," she said. "You're the nicest fawn I've ever met. But what have you done?" "I'm in the pay of the White Witch," Mr. Tumnus wept. "It is she that has Narnia under her thumb and makes it always winter, and never Christmas. Think of that." "How awful," said Lucy. "But what does she pay you for?" "That's the worst of it," said Mr. Tumnus with a groan. "I had orders from her that if I ever saw a son of Adam or a daughter of Eve, I was to catch them and hand them over to her." "Oh, but you won't, will you, Mr. Tumnus?" said Lucy anxiously. "If I don't," he replied, "she'll wave her wand and turn me into stone, so that I will be a statue in her horrible house." I'm very sorry, Mr. Tumnus," said Lucy, "but please let me go home." "Of course I will," said the fawn. "I can't give you up to the witch, not now that I know you. But we must be off at once. The whole wood is full of her spies." So they hurried through the darkness back to the lamppost. "Go home as quickly as you can," said the fawn. "And can you ever forgive me for what I meant to do?" "Why, of course I can," said Lucy, "and I do hope you don't get into trouble on my account." "Farewell, daughter of Eve," said Mr. Tumnus. "Perhaps I may keep the handkerchief."